Bruce Lee trained alone for the last time on July 19, 1973, one day before he died. Nobody knew it was the last time, but one person watched, and what they saw changed everything they understood about dedication, obsession, and the price of greatness. Hong Kong, July 19, 1973, 5:30 a.m. One day before Bruce Lee's death, the city is still dark, the streets mostly empty, the heat already building even before sunrise. Hong Kong in July doesn't wait for the sun to get hot. The humidity does the work early. Bruce Lee's home gym. Small room. Converted from a storage space. Mirrors on one wall. Heavy bag in the corner. Wooden dummy. Free weights. A jump rope hanging on a hook. Simple. Functional. Everything Bruce needs. Nothing he doesn't. Bruce enters the room at 5:30 a.m. He does this every day, has done it every day for as long as anyone can remember. Before the family wakes, before the city fully activates, this time is his. The one uninterrupted space in a life that belongs mostly to other people. He's wearing simple training clothes, black shorts, white t-shirt, no shoes, feet bare on the wooden floor, the floor he's worn smooth over years of training in this space. He doesn't know this is the last time. Can't know. Nobody knows their last time until it's already past. He's not thinking about last times. He's thinking about the workout, about what needs attention today, about the specific combination he's been refining for the past week. His housekeeper, Mrs. Wong, arrives early that morning, earlier than usual. She has shopping to do before the markets get crowded. She's worked for the Lee family for 2 years, knows the rhythms of the household, knows Bruce trains in the mornings, and is not to be disturbed. She passes the gym on her way to the kitchen. The door is slightly open. Not unusual. Bruce sometimes leaves it open for air circulation in the heat. She glances in, sees Bruce, and stops. Not because something is wrong, because something is right. Because there is something in what she sees that she has never seen before, not in 2 years of passing that door every morning. Something different today, something she can't name but can feel. She stays, hidden in the shadow of the hallway, watching. Bruce begins with stillness. This is how he always starts. Not stretching, not jumping, just standing. Feet shoulder-width apart, arms at his sides, eyes closed, breathing, finding the center, the place underneath the noise, the place where Bruce Lee the legend isn't present, only Bruce Lee the practitioner. Mrs. Wong watches him stand still for 3 minutes, unmoving, breath barely visible, like a statue, like a person made of something denser than ordinary matter. Then he begins. The warm-up is different today, slower than usual, more deliberate, like he's paying attention to each movement in a way he normally reserves for new techniques being learned. But these aren't new movements. These are movements Bruce has done 10,000 times, 20,000. Movements that should be completely automatic, but he's treating them like they're new. Like he's discovering them, like his hands and feet are encountering these positions for the first time and finding something worth noticing. Mrs. Wong doesn't understand martial arts, has never trained, has no framework for analyzing what she's watching. But she understands attention. She understands the quality of someone being fully present in what they're doing. She's seen Bruce train through the partially open door many times. This is different. The attention is different. Something in the way Bruce is inhabiting each movement, like he's trying to memorize it, like he wants to know it completely, not just perform it, but understand it fully, the way you understand something you know you might not have again. Bruce moves to the wooden dummy, the training tool he's used since childhood, familiar as breathing. He begins the combinations, not fast, medium speed, but precise, each strike landing exactly where it should land, each block intercepting exactly the right angle, the rhythm building. Then he stops, mid-combination, holds the position, a specific angle, his left hand extended in a guard position, his right hand chambered, his weight distributed in a particular way. He holds this for 30 seconds, 45, a full minute. Mrs. Wong watches him hold the position, wondering if something is wrong, if he's hurt, if the back pain that she sometimes sees in his face is acting up. But his expression isn't pain. It's concentration, the deepest concentration she's ever seen on a human face, like he's listening to something inside the position, hearing something the position has to say. He releases, moves to the next position. Holds that one too. 30 seconds, 45, listening. This continues. For 20 minutes. Not fluid training, punctuated training, moving, stopping, holding, listening, moving again, like a conversation with his own body, like questions being asked and answers being found in the stillness between movements. Mrs. Wong doesn't know what she's watching, but she knows she's watching something important, something that feels like it belongs to the category of things that only happen once, that can't be repeated, that need to be witnessed, or they disappear without trace. She stays. Even though she should be getting ready to go to the market, even though she has things to do, she stays and watches. Bruce moves to the heavy bag, and here something shifts again. He doesn't hit it, stands in front of it, both hands resting against the bag's surface, not gripping, just resting, like he's feeling it, remembering it. 2 years of training in this room, this specific bag. His hands know every seam, every worn patch, every area where the leather has softened from thousands of strikes, his hands resting against it now with something that looks to Mrs. Wong like gratitude. Then he hits it, but differently from how she's seen him hit it before. Not the explosive combinations, not the powerful, precise strikes she's glimpsed through the door. Something slower, more deliberate, like he's saying something to the bag, one strike at a time, each one complete. Each one meaning something. Mrs. Wong has tears on her face. She doesn't know why. Nothing sad is happening. A man hitting a punching bag in his home gym at 5:30 in the morning. There is nothing objectively sad about this. But the tears come anyway, because whatever she's watching is true in a way that touches something beyond understanding. Bruce works through every piece of equipment in the room. The bag, the dummy, the weights, the jump rope. Each one receiving the same quality of attention, the same deliberateness, the same sense of saying something, of completing something. An hour and 15 minutes after he began, Bruce stops, stands in the center of the room, the same stillness as the beginning, eyes closed, breathing, coming down from the training the way you come down from something significant. He stands like this for 5 minutes, then opens his eyes, looks around the room, at the bag, the dummy, the mirrors, the worn wooden floor, his eyes moving around the space like he's memorizing it, like he's taking a photograph with his attention. Then he does something Mrs. Wong has never seen him do in 2 years. He bows to the empty room, a full respectful bow, the kind you give to a teacher or to something that taught you, hands clasped, head lowered, held for a long moment, to the room, to the equipment, to the practice itself, to everything that made him who he is. Mrs. Wong makes a small sound, involuntary. She presses her hand over her mouth, terrified he heard her. Bruce doesn't react, straightens from the bow, picks up his towel, walks to the door, stops at the threshold, looks back one more time at the room, then leaves. Mrs. Wong stands in the hallway for a long time after he's gone, not able to move immediately, processing what she witnessed, unable to explain why it affected her so deeply, unable to articulate what she saw. She goes to the market, does the shopping, comes back, makes breakfast. The day proceeds normally. Bruce has meetings, is on the phone, is Bruce Lee with things to do and people to see, and a life moving at full speed. In the evening, he leaves for Betty Tingpei's apartment, for a meeting about Game of Death, the meeting that ends with him taking a painkiller for a headache, lying down, never waking up. The next morning, July 20, 1973, Bruce Lee is dead. Mrs. Wong hears the news in the afternoon, delivered by a neighbor who heard from someone else. The rapid transmission of shocking information through a neighborhood that can't believe what it's being told. Mrs. Wong sits down on her kitchen floor, not the chair, the floor, unable to reach the chair. The training session. This morning. Yesterday morning. Yesterday at 5:30 a.m., she watched him bow to an empty room. She watched him say goodbye to his practice. She didn't know that's what she was watching. But that's what it was. She knew. Some part of her knew. That's why the tears, that's why she couldn't leave. Something in her recognized what she was witnessing, even though her conscious mind had no framework for it. She tells no one for a long time. Months. The story feels too private, too sacred, like something she was given by accident that she doesn't know how to share without diminishing. A year after Bruce's death, Linda Lee is going through the process of understanding what Bruce's final days were like. Talking to people who saw him, building a picture of his last week, she asks Mrs. Wong if she noticed anything unusual. Mrs. Wong tells her about the training session, describes what she saw. The slowness, the deliberateness, the stopping and holding positions, the way he touched the equipment, the bow. Linda listens without speaking, her face going through things that are too complex to name. He bowed to the room, Linda says finally, to the practice. Yes, a full respectful bow, like he was thanking it. Did he see you? No, I was in the shadow of the hallway. Linda is quiet for a long time. He knew, she says, not consciously, but somewhere he knew. The body knows before the mind is ready, and he was saying goodbye to the thing that made him who he was. The practice, the training, the daily work that was the foundation of everything. Should I have told him I was there? Mrs. Wong asks. The question she's been carrying for a year. Should I have said something? Linda thinks. No, he needed that to be private. He was doing something that needed to be between him and the practice, not for anyone else. You witnessing it was enough. You being there to carry the memory was enough. Mrs. Wong carries the memory for the rest of her life, tells it occasionally, to people who seem ready to receive it. Always the same details, the slowness, the holding of positions, the touching of the equipment, the bow, always ending the same way. I didn't know it was the last time. He didn't know it was the last time, but he trained like he knew, like some part of him was saying thank you, was finishing something, was being complete. Shannon Lee hears the story in 1995, 22 years after it happened, from her mother who heard it from Mrs. Wong. She sits with it for a long time. He said goodbye to the practice, Shannon says, before he even knew he needed to say goodbye. Yes, that's the most Bruce Lee thing I've ever heard, that his body knew before his mind did, that he honored the practice even in that, even in the goodbye. Shannon thinks about the bow. Her father, alone in his home gym at 6:45 in the morning, bowing to an empty room, to a wooden dummy and a heavy bag and a worn wooden floor, to the practice that was his foundation, his religion, his truest self. He was complete, Shannon says. That's what Mrs. Wong was watching, a man being complete, finishing something, saying thank you to what made him who he was, even though he didn't know it was ending? Maybe. Especially because he didn't know, the conscious mind would have complicated it, would have resisted, would have said not yet, not done yet, more to do. But the deeper part, the part that knew, gotta say goodbye properly, gotta be grateful, gotta complete the practice with the same quality of attention he brought to it his whole life. The last training session, July 9th, nobody knew it was the last time. Not Bruce, not Linda, not anyone. Except something deeper than knowing, something that moved his hands slowly over equipment he'd used 10,000 times, that stopped him in positions to listen, that brought him to a bow at the end. The practice saying goodbye to the practitioner. The practitioner saying goodbye to the practice. Neither one knowing, both somehow knowing. The last training session. Complete, grateful, true, exactly like everything Bruce Lee ever did. Threetain Grichla Orant Resmi Ver.